Ah, Five Nights at Freddy's, a series loved, hated, despised, even forgotten. Originally released on August 8th of 2014, FNAF was shaping up to be an incredible series. The simple gameplay applied with the atmosphere and story of the game was what kept people going and supporting the series. A simple sit and survive type game with generally scary character designs and a fascinating setting. The massive success of the series in its first few years would make you think that the series is still as loved today, right? Well, not really. A lot of controversy, terrible games, abysmal merchandise, one of the worst fandoms second to Undertale, led to the series eventually fading out of popularity as other games took its place. However, while on the topic, why don't we revisit some of the biggest failures in FNAF's long history? Should be fun, right? Yeah, no. Scott's resignation was a massive blow to the FNAF community. It left so many questions such as, who will take over, or will there be more games? And these questions wouldn't be answered until literally almost 2 years later. The situation was that Scott donated to several politicians who had anti-LGBTQ beliefs, while he obviously did not know this. This obviously made a lot of the FNAF community upset, and Scott would go back and refund those donations, but the damage was already done. This led to Scott being doxxed, threatened, and more terrible things. His wife, who was pregnant at the time, was legitimately scared for her as well as her kids' safety, as most of the things threatened weren't exactly nice. All of this led to Scott resigning and giving the franchise to Steelwool, and we all know how that turned out. However, some flaws that I personally see with this is the fact that most everyone jumped to conclusions that Scott was indeed homophobic, when, again, he did not know the people he was donating to had those beliefs. And I just don't think he would purposely donate to people who were trying to get rid of a large audience of his own series, that being the LGBTQ community. And the biggest thing that made a lot of other people upset as well was that even if Scott knew what he was doing, it was his opinion, and regardless of how politically correct it is, it should be respected as such. Now, I know that it's not exactly the best opinion, but regardless, we should be able to respect the opinion of Scott, and if you simply cannot do that, what's the point of having opinions?
If for some reason he activates during the night.
From doxing people, to cringy gacha live videos, to even real-world crimes, the FNAF community is one of, if not, the worst in the world. Now, I understand that a community riddled with children below the age of 13 would be terrible, but FNAF takes it to a level I didn't even think imaginable. Constant petty YouTuber drama, stolen art, fan fictions that make you want to throw up. Name anything that makes anything bad, and the FNAF community has for sure done it. Now, that's not to say everything in the community is terrible. For instance, songwriters such as Tryhard Ninja are amazing. Theorists like MatPat are alright. Some fan game devs like Kane, Carter, and Fiznom are also amazing, etc., etc. To be fair, I didn't really have much written for this part. I kind of just wanted to rant about the community for half a minute, so, next segment. Security Breach was an absolute joke of a game. Being very obviously rushed, this game is riddled with bugs, unused content, etc. The hype train for this game started all the way back in late 2019 when this picture was uploaded to Scott's website. This game was supposed to be a huge rework of the FNAF formula, finally taking that big step to a massive, free-roam AAA game. But did this happen? No. Now, there is some leniency due here, as this game was mid-development when Scott retired. However, Steel Wool is a massive AAA game company who was responsible for making FNAF VR as good as it was, so the expectations for this game were pretty high. But to release the game in the state it was for $60 was a huge slap in the face to everybody. Granted, there have been patches to fix some of the game's bugs, but it's up to debate whether they've worked or not. The story was hyped up to have this big new bad guy, Vanny, who was in almost all the promotional art. And for what? For her to get less than an eighth of the game on screen. I think it's kind of fair to assume that if you've hyped up a character that much, you'd expect him to play a big part of the story. But no, Vanny gets maybe 3 scenes to herself, and that's it. Heck, I'd argue that the opening cutscene has more lore in it than Vanny as a character does. As stated before, the game has lots of unused content, mini games, over 10 gigabytes of unused maps, etc. And some of these things that were scrapped looked really cool, and some of these things, had they been added, may have made the game a lot cooler than it is. We can only hope that in the DLC, coming out 2 years after the game's release by the way, adds some of these things and just generally refines the game. FNAF is a series with lots of ups, downs, and tragedies, and there's no telling what the future holds for the series, although since Steel Wool now owns it, there's really no telling if it'll be good or bad. But hey, we can only hope, right? Hey guys, I would just quickly like to take this moment to thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for 100 subscribers. Like I said in my 100 video, I never thought I would make it here. It's truly a crazy number, and I'm showing signs of continuing growth. I've gained around 20 subscribers in the last week maybe, so it's starting to show that people are maybe enjoying the content more, and maybe I'll do more of these scripted type videos if you guys seem to enjoy it. But it's just surreal that I have this small community of people watching my videos, and it means the world to me. So I just wanted to say thank you guys, and just thank you guys for supporting me, and I love you all.